Project Management Professional, PMP, shows up on job descriptions everywhere, from government agencies to fast-growing cloud companies. And for good reason. It is a certification that says you can guide work from idea to delivery in a structured way, instead of relying on last-minute heroics. This narration is part of the Monday Certified feature from Bare Metal Cyber Magazine, focused on helping people in technical and cybersecurity roles understand where certifications actually fit. Today, the spotlight is on how PMP can work for someone like you who already lives inside projects, even if Project Manager is not on your business card yet.
If this certification is on your study list, a free and complete audio course is available in the Bare Metal Cyber Academy at baremetalcyber.com, complete with a study guide and a second ebook featuring 1,000 flashcard questions. If you work in IT or cybersecurity, you already know that projects rarely feel neat and tidy. Migrations slip, stakeholders change their minds, and new risks pop up halfway through implementation. PMP is designed for people who operate in that reality and want a shared professional language for how to organize work, manage risks, and keep people aligned. It is not meant as a first step into technology. It is more of a bridge from strong individual contributor to trusted project lead, especially when your world is full of infrastructure upgrades, security rollouts, and cross-team initiatives.
The certification is issued by the Project Management Institute, a professional association that focuses on project management across many industries. Because it is not tied to any single tool or vendor, its ideas travel well when you change jobs, move between on-prem environments and cloud platforms, or switch from one security product to another. When a hiring manager sees PMP, they do not think expert in a particular software. They think this person understands widely recognized project management practices. That perception can matter when you are trying to move into roles with more responsibility and visibility.
PMP sits at an intermediate to advanced level, which means it assumes you have already spent time inside real projects. Typical candidates are people who coordinate tasks, keep track of dependencies, and act as the glue between different groups. That could be a systems engineer who always ends up running the upgrade plan, a cybersecurity analyst who leads a continuous improvement initiative, or an administrator who organizes complex rollouts across multiple sites. If you recognize yourself as the one others rely on to keep things moving, the certification is aimed directly at you. Because PMP is not an entry-level credential, timing matters. If you are brand new to professional work and have not yet been part of real projects, it may be better to focus first on building experience and perhaps on more foundational certifications. On the other hand, if your days already involve planning, status updates, stakeholder check-ins, and risk discussions, then PMP can serve as a way to formalize and validate what you do. It helps you trade unofficial project hero for a clearer, more portable professional identity. The Project Management Institute treats PMP as a living credential. That means the exam evolves as the profession evolves. Over time, they have woven in agile and hybrid delivery methods alongside more traditional approaches, and they refresh the content based on research into what project work looks like in the real world. To keep the certification active, you earn continuing education credits over a multi-year cycle, which encourages you to keep learning rather than freezing your skills at the moment you pass the exam. The result is a community of practitioners who share a common baseline and keep that baseline current. When you sit for the PMP exam, you will notice quickly that it is built around scenarios rather than simple facts. Many questions describe a project situation and ask what you should do next, often with several options that look reasonable. You might be dealing with a frustrated stakeholder, an emerging risk to schedule or budget, or a team that is confused about priorities. The exam forces you to slow down, read carefully, and choose the response that reflects disciplined project management, not just firefighting or personal preference. Under the hood, the exam leans on three big areas of practice. One is about leading and supporting people on projects, including communication, conflict, and motivation.
Another is about planning and delivering the work itself, from scope and schedule to changes along the way. The third connects project decisions to business outcomes, making sure you understand why the work exists and how it supports organizational goals. When you answer questions, you are being tested on how well you balance these dimensions, instead of focusing only on tasks or only on relationships.
The exam also expects you to recognize different ways of organizing work. You will see ideas drawn from traditional project management, where plans and baselines are more fixed, and from agile approaches, where teams deliver in short cycles and adapt quickly. Hybrid patterns, which combine elements of both, are common in the scenarios. For someone in cybersecurity or IT, that often looks like using structured planning for the overall rollout while relying on agile techniques for iterative configuration and testing. PMP does not demand that you become an agile coach, but it does want you to match your delivery style to the situation.
One of the biggest misconceptions about PMP is that it is mostly about documents and checklists. While artifacts like plans, logs, and registers show up in the exam, they are never the end goal. The questions keep pulling you back to outcomes, protecting value, managing risk, aligning expectations, and enabling your team to deliver. If you approach your preparation as a pure memorization exercise, you may feel blindsided by how situational the questions are. If you practice thinking, what would I do as the project lead here, and why would that choice support the project and the organization, you will be much closer to the mindset the exam rewards. Preparing for PMP begins with understanding the feel of the exam, so you are not surprised on test day. You will be with the test for several hours, working against a clock and navigating a steady stream of scenario questions. That means your plan should address both content and stamina. It helps to map your study into phases. First, build a solid foundation in core concepts and terminology. Second, work through scenarios and stories so those ideas feel real. Third, spend serious time with exam-style questions and their explanations. And finally, tune your timing, review your weaker areas, and focus on staying calm under pressure.
As you move through those phases, try to balance reading with more active work. Guides, standards, and reputable online resources are valuable for learning definitions and frameworks, but they really click when you connect them to projects you know. When you encounter a concept like risk response or stakeholder engagement, pause and think about a migration or security initiative from your own experience where that idea was either used well or ignored. Then, when you practice exam questions, do not rush past the explanations. Use them to understand why the credited answer best reflects disciplined project management, even when another option felt tempting.
It is also useful to build a simple feedback loop for yourself. When you do sets of practice questions under time, keep a short log of where you struggle. You might notice that you jump into action without communicating, or that you focus on technical fixes without checking alignment with the sponsor. Those patterns tell you where to direct your review time. Short, regular study sessions often work better than occasional marathons because they keep the material active in your mind while your brain quietly organizes it between sessions. Over a few weeks, that steady, repeated exposure builds confidence. The Bare Metal Cyber Audio Academy course for PMP is designed to fit around this kind of plan. You can use it early on to hear core concepts and exam expectations explained in clear, practical language, especially from the perspective of IT and cybersecurity work. Later, as you move into heavier question practice and fine-tuning, you can keep listening during commutes, walks, or gym time to reinforce ideas without adding more screen hours. Think of the audio course as a way to keep project management thinking in your ears so that even busy days move your preparation forward a little. On the career side, PMP can be a strong signal that you are ready for roles where you own outcomes, not just tasks. Many organizations use it as one of the markers when they look for project managers, implementation leads, or coordinators who can guide cross-functional work.
For someone in cybersecurity, it can support moves into roles where you plan and oversee security initiatives, coordinate complex rollouts, or act as the bridge between technical teams and business leaders. The certification alone does not guarantee a promotion, but it sharpens the story your experience already tells.
PMP also pairs well with technical and security certifications. A combination of a domain-focused credential and PMP tells hiring managers that you understand both how the technology works and how to lead the work around it. That can be particularly powerful when you want to move into positions that require coaching teams, managing expectations, and reporting to leadership about progress and risk. In many career paths, people start with technical certifications, then add PMP once their responsibilities start to lean more toward planning and delivery.
It is worth saying that PMP is not the right move for everyone at every moment. If your passion is deep technical engineering work and you prefer to stay immersed in tools, code, or threat analysis, there may be other certifications that better match your goals in the near term. However, if you already find that people look to you to keep projects on track and you enjoy that part of your work, then PMP can help you build on that strength. It recognizes and amplifies a skill set that is often underappreciated until a project starts to go off the rails.
In the end, PMP is less about memorizing a set of rules and more about learning to think like a project leader in messy, real-world conditions. For early career professionals in IT and cybersecurity, it can mark the transition from doing the work to guiding the work. If you see your daily tasks reflected in the scenarios the exam describes, then this certification may be a natural next step. Combine your real experience with a thoughtful study plan. Use resources like the Bare Metal Cyber Audio Academy to keep learning flexible, and you can turn the way you already support projects into a credential that opens new doors.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.